everybody, it's Alyce-Kay Ruckelshaus from Threshold of Hineni, and I'm just hanging out on my birthday. I was supposed to go exploring. I was just going to go exploring by myself in my pickup truck, and two of my tires are low, and I don't know how to add air to them. So I decided, since I've had this horrible cough for about 3 weeks, I should probably just take it easy. So I'm hanging out in my pajamas, and I got tired of watching movies and reading. So I decided to make some Frankenpaper. So this will probably be posted someplace like a couple months down the road, but that's the story here. So I make Frankenpaper a lot. And I like to make videos and post them about once a month because I get a lot of questions about Frankenpaper, and this way I can keep a Frankenpaper video up close to the top where you can find it easily. Okay, so if you want to watch more Frankenpaper videos, I have a whole entire playlist of Frankenpaper videos. So this one I'm going to use scraps that are mainly from a French industrial journal that I made. And what I do is I gather, as I'm making a journal, I gather the scraps from it in a basket or a bin or a box or a bowl or whatever. And if I don't use them to make Frankenpaper right away, then they go into a bin with a lid and go onto the shelf, and eventually I get around to making Frankenpaper with them. But this way I have scraps that are already coordinated, and if I make it while I'm making the journal, then I can also use it to cut up the Frankenpaper into pieces to use in the journal for journaling cards or for belly bands, or even for a cover. I've never used one for a cover, but I'm kind of thinking about doing that sometime soon. Anyway, so what I'm going to do right now is I start out with a piece of scratch paper. Okay, so this, I did my ink check, my maintenance on my computer, and so I'm going to cover it all up, so it doesn't matter what's on it. And that's just a good way to use a piece of paper that I would throw away otherwise. I mean, I can't use it for anything. So, so I'm going to start out with the biggest pieces that I have in here, and I did kind of supplement this. I didn't think that I had enough of the French industrial pieces to actually use for a whole piece of Frankenpaper. So I went through some of my other scraps that are still out from recent projects, including one project that I'm doing right now, which is this journal. I'm still working on this one, but it'll be done by the time that you see this. And so I put some of those scraps in here too, because they're kind of the same colors and everything. The other thing is, you can do this on any size. I have done huge pieces before, and it gets a little hard to sew. So now I pretty much stick to, you know, an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, or I do it in a long strip that's like as wide as I would want for belly bands and stuff. But I mostly do it on 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper. So I start out by using the larger pieces, and this is basically, I'm just going to cover the whole thing mostly with those pieces. So they don't have to be straight across or anything. I like to have some jagged edges, some jagged pieces near the edge, and so I have that sticking off just slightly over the edge so that it's going to be uneven all the way around. Okay, and then if I use it and I want it to be even on the edge, I can always trim it, you know, when I'm ready to use it. One of the things that's nice about doing it as a whole sheet instead of just making like individual cards is that I can cut the sheet up into the things that I need, and it's all going to coordinate. So whether I'm using it in the book that the scraps are from, or using it someplace else, just something that it coordinates with, all those pieces that I make from the Frankenpaper are going to go together really nicely. And the other thing is that this is just kind of an instructional thing, is that when you do cut all these pieces up, see, now when I'm done with this, I'm going to stitch all the way around the edge. But when you cut all those pieces up into whatever you're going to use them with, you're going to want to stitch around the edges of all of those, so that nothing's going to be sticking up. Like here, right now, I've only stitched down the middle of this, so if I were to leave it like this, something could come along and eventually it would tear, and it just not work very well. So when I'm putting down my first pieces, the ones to just cover the paper, I stitch down the middle because I might want to stick things, especially if there's a ragged edge. Now a straight edge like this, I might go ahead and stitch along the edge. But with a ragged edge, if I have something with a straight edge, then I might want to stick it underneath that ragged edge because I like the ragged edges better for my end product. I like the way that they look. Sometimes I do distress all of my pieces. That's just if I have some time when I'm like sitting watching you know, a movie or something, and so I'm not gonna sit here and just distress pieces to sew onto Frankenpaper. I do think that it looks nicer, but it takes a whole lot of time, and it's not worth it to me. I mean, if I was getting $500 a journal or something, then it would be worth it. But I'm not. So I'm not going to spend all that time distressing every piece of paper that I'm going to put on Frankenpaper. Okay, and there's a lot of really small pieces, little tiny scraps that you have. Keep those. If you don't end up using them, you can always throw them away, but don't throw them away when you first create the scraps while you're making something, because those little pieces can come in really handy, as you will see later on in this process. Now I really like this. This is kind of the theme of that journal, so even though it's a big piece, I'm going to save that and probably break it up into smaller pieces to use when I'm ready to use smaller pieces. Okay, so here's another piece. Let's go ahead and I'm not going to put it up right against the edges because I want to put something jagged along there. Let me bring this just a little bit closer to me. Another thing is that even though I sew 99.9% of my Frankenpaper, I think most people glue it, and there's some good reasons for that. So, you know, you might want to consider, if you don't really like sewing, then by all means, glue it. Like I said, I think that's what most people do, is glue their Frankenpaper on. And one of the things that I would say is an advantage to gluing it is that at the end, I'm going to have all kinds of stitching on the back. So you wouldn't be able to write on the back of the Frankenpaper. So what I have to do if I make these into a like a journaling card or something is put something like pieces from a manila file folder on the back to make it hard enough so that you're not feeling that zigzag thread through there, and you can write on it. But I don't really make that many cards, journaling cards from mine, so I don't worry about it. And I love sewing myself. It really calms me down. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing it today, is because I'm bored and I love doing this. It's not something that I have to think about a whole lot. It's something that, you know, uses some creativity, but not a whole lot. And so it's a good thing to do on a day when you're not feeling super with it, which is where I am today. Okay, so here I've got these two pieces together. I'm going to go ahead and sew along the edge of this one to hold those together in place. Seems like there was something else I was going to say. Oh, about why I like to sew it. Well, so I just like to sew, but also I think that it adds a lot of texture to it. My Frankenpaper just feels really cool because it's got all this texture. And then also, you'll see at the end, I like to add, you know, I wish I had some more of the packing paper, but I don't see that around here. I like to add, I like to add like fibers, pieces of yarn and thread and ribbon, and I like to add little bits of fabric, and those don't glue on as well, I don't think. So that's another reason why I like to sew. But mainly it's just because I prefer to sew. I like to sew. I love sewing. Bill used to tell me that he thought I needed some alone time with my sewing machine. Whenever he felt like I was starting to get anxious or something, you know, he'd say, why don't you go spend some time alone with your sewing machine? So get some alone time with your sewing machine. And he got a kick out of saying that, and I got a kick out of him saying it. I think I was the first one who said I need some alone time with my sewing machine, but he really picked up on that. So yeah. So I'm using right here, I'm using a dictionary page that you saw me just kind of tear up. It's one that I had torn out to use in a journal, and I guess I didn't end up using anything from it. This is FR, so it probably had French or something, and I don't know why I didn't end up using it, but I didn't. How about right here? Trying to do all this so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. And again, I'm going to stitch all the way around the edges at the end, so I'm avoiding stitching the edges. I don't mind stitching out from the edges, but I'm avoiding stitching right along the edge, unless I have, you know, a particularly small piece that I have along there, and then you just can't avoid that you're going to be stitching along the edges. I'm not putting all of these pieces together. I'm kind of spreading them around. I try to make it so that I don't have all of one kind in the same place. And again, this is just how I do it. I'm telling you how I do it. There are other people who have Frankenpaper tutorials and they do it completely differently. And you can just kind of develop your own style, but it helps to see how, you know, how other people do it. Don't just watch my tutorials on it, watch some others too. And, you know, you'll get ideas and you'll develop your own style. Also, if you like Frankenpaper, but you don't want to make your own, I do sell it in my shop because I have so many scraps and I make so much Frankenpaper. There's no way I could possibly use it all. So I am very happy to share. And if you don't see a color scheme that you want in there, like if you're making a journal and it's red and blue or something, and I don't have any red and blue Frankenpaper in there at the time, by all means contact me and I will make some for you, because I've got every color of scraps imaginable. I just haven't made it, or maybe I have made it and I haven't posted it yet. And generally, if I'm making something and I haven't posted it yet and you ask for it, I will give you a discount because you're saving me time having to put a post together. That's why I have a lot of Frankenpaper that I have not posted yet, because I just haven't had the time or haven't taken the time to post it. So yeah. So anyway, yeah, if you want some Frankenpaper, you want some custom made, and I can do other sizes if you want to. If you want me to sew some manila file folder on the back of it or cardstock on the back so that you can use it for cards, or if you want me to cut it up into cards for you or whatever, I am happy to do all that. Okay, so I'm trying to put these pieces, you know, they can be overlapping some and everything, but I don't want to waste a lot because frankly with this particular bin of scraps I don't have as much as I usually do, so I'm not sure that I have enough to cover it, although looking at it as I'm going I do think that I have enough. Okay, look, this is like €1, so I'm going to keep this all whole and I'll probably put it on close to the end. This was for a Paris themed journal that I did recently. I had a couple of euros left over, so I thought this would be kind of fun to include on here. I'll probably put it on close to the end so that most of it is showing, but maybe put a little bit of something over it so it doesn't look... Oh, and it's got ledger paper on the back, so we can use that. Okay, so I want to save that. Okay, here's some nice pieces. And again, I'm still kind of, you know, cutting some edges to put here along the edge. Not cutting, but tearing edges. So, I think I mentioned that today is my birthday. And when Bill died, I got a pickup truck. He had always had pickup trucks. He had gone through 2 of them while we were married. And, you know, so partly because he kind of taught me the value of a pickup truck, and partly because after his accident I didn't feel safe in anything other than a pickup truck. You really are safer in a pickup truck, I think. I got a pickup truck, and my best friend's daughter's fiance helped me to find it and did a great job. And so anyway, so I really like my pickup, And one of the things that I wanted to do when I got it was to start like every month, go out and explore some of the area. I mean, I'm not really excited about like exploring shops or anything like that. I like exploring nature and finding scenic areas and stuff. You know, maybe a small town and finding a great restaurant or a great ice cream store or something like that. But mostly just, I like to drive along, and if I see something off in the distance or on the side of the road or something that looks interesting, then I'll figure out how I can get to it and, you know, go check it out, and probably spend a few hours checking it out. And I enjoy doing that. I kind of got that from my parents. That's what we grew up doing, my brothers and my sister and me. So it's just kind of in the blood, and I really enjoy doing that. So that's what I was going to do today. But I have a couple tires that are low on air, and I do not know how to put air in my tires. It's not something I ever learned. I've always had somebody who could do that for me, and now I don't. So I didn't really feel today like spending my birthday learning how to do that. So, and also I've had this really bad cough for about 3 weeks, and I just feel like, okay, I have been doing things to try to get rid of it, but I need to really get serious about this. So I thought the best plan today would be to just stay home and take it easy. I've taken a number of naps. I've kind of hung out in bed or in the family room with the animals, and I've read or watched videos on YouTube, or did I watch a movie? I guess I haven't. I was thinking maybe I had. I was going to watch a movie, but I don't think that I actually did. And I've spent some time online and stuff, but so I've just been taking it really easy. That's my point, is I've been taking it really easy, and I don't feel like I'm getting well real quickly. That's okay. I don't think I should expect that. I've had this going on for 3 weeks after all, so maybe even longer. Not sure. Okay, so I'm putting this in the corner, a little piece of dictionary. So I'm going to just go like, I'm going to sew diagonally out from the corner, because I don't want to sew along the edges yet, because I will do that all at the end. Yeah, so, I mean, it hasn't been an exciting day, but it's been nice. I mean, I do not just relax very often. I feel guilty. I know that's terrible. That's so bad for me to feel guilty about relaxing, but I do, because I have a lot to do. But I also realize I am never going to finish everything on my to-do list. I have too many things that I want to do, or that I feel like I should do. And so, you know, I'm never going to finish it. So I have to just take some times to relax, and not say, oh, when I finish everything on my list, I can relax. Well, that's just not going to happen. And that's probably part of the reason why I'm sick. Because I don't just take time to relax like I should. So I've got to work on that. Let's see here. So now I'm looking for kind of smaller pieces just to fill in these areas. I really don't want to cover up the dictionary thing, so I'm going to do that way. And now I can sew along that edge of the dictionary piece, because it'll sew to this brown piece that I'm putting down. So yeah, so today was just a restful day, and that was really good. And oh, the other thing is that, and I did a reveal on this that I posted earlier. I'll try to remember to post a link for it if you're interested. Back in December, I had seen this thing on Facebook called CauseBox, and I thought it looked really interesting. It's a company that works with people all over the world, including the United States, who are, you know, craftsmen and artisans who are being socially responsible, you know, contributing some way, and ecologically responsible. And they, you know, put together these boxes that you can buy. You can subscribe to it. I'm not subscribing to it. I can't afford to, but And that was the thing, was when I first saw it, I thought, oh, that looks like so much fun, and I really liked the things that they were showing, but I couldn't really justify spending that much money. It wasn't a lot. It was $45, and you get over $200 worth of stuff, but still. And but then I thought, well, you know, Bill and I had, for our birthdays, what we had done was we had asked people to donate to different causes instead of getting us gifts or cards, and then we just got each other a gift. Well, so that meant I wasn't going to get any gift because Bill's not here to give me a gift, and I wasn't feeling sorry for myself or anything, but it was just like, oh, that's kind of a bummer. And then I thought, you know what, I could make this cause box thing be a gift from him for my birthday. So I ordered it back in December, knowing it would come sometime in January. My birthday's at the end of January. And you know what? It came exactly today. It came on my birthday. And so I got my birthday present on my birthday, which was just really nice. So I opened it on camera and explained about the organization because I think it is really cool. And so, you know, if you're interested, you could buy a box or subscribe. So if I forget to put that information below and you're interested, just ask me and I'll put it down there. Okay, so see, now we're getting filled up. We've got a few places still, but let's see, I've got another piece of dictionary page. Where can I put that? Right here would be really nice. There we go. Yeah, that's nice. And, you know, as I get close to the end here, I start sewing around the actual pieces, not just down the middle, because, you know, we've filled in spaces now, so I'm not going to have to put slide things under there. So I may as well go ahead and sew those down, because, as I said at the beginning, you don't want to leave any edges not sewn down by the time that you finish. Okay, so see how I don't know if you can see, I sewed all the way around that piece just now when I put it down. Okay, and how about right here? Let's see, we can kind of slide it under there. So I love this nightgown that I'm wearing. I got 2 of them back when I bought them because they're flannel. And, you know, Bill was my personal space heater. He was so hot in bed. And yes, even the way that it sounded, as well as temperature-wise. Anyway, without him, I'm cold in bed. So I went ahead and got some flannel pajamas, and I went specifically to get a flannel nightgown. You know, thinking I'd get something really ugly, but these are so cute. They're like gunny sacks, if you remember from the 70s. The really fancy gunny sacks dresses. That's what it reminds me of. It's just really, really pretty. And, you know, it's just me here, so I don't feel bad at all about wearing it all day long on a day like today. I don't usually, because I do usually go outside a little bit, but tomorrow I'll have to run errands, so I will have to put on real clothes. But for today, this is great. There we go, that's good. I like these little slivers that are long. Okay, now I'm not going down the middle, I'm going along the side, and I'll do the other side as well. Not right now because it's so thin and I've still got some blank page there. And I'll want to slide something under this, but I can do this side of it. Okay, see how it's all coming together? Oops, there's that piece coming up. Let's get a piece for right there in the corner. And then we can sew all this up right here. There we go. But see how much fun this is, and you don't think about it. Don't overthink it at all. The more you think as you're doing this, the less artistic it's going to be. What I have found, I don't know, somebody tell me if this is, you know, like how you work too, but I've found that if I turn off the thinking part of my brain, it allows the artistic part to work that much better. And it's like, it just kind of, not 100% of the time, but most of the time, what I do without thinking turns out really well. So I try not to think too much while I'm doing things like this. Okay. So I'm going to sew all the way around this particular piece because it's just ready to be sewn all the way around. I love this sewing machine. Bill got this for me for our wedding, as a wedding present when we first got married, and it threads itself, which is so nice. It threads itself. It cuts the thread for me, and it cuts it so that it's, you know, got little pieces like this, which I really like. I don't cut those. I leave it. He said that my projects were hairy because of that, and I like it because it's just a real good shabby chic kind of thing. Oops, I've got a space there. Okay, there we go. So let's sew this paper down, and then let's sew along the edge here this direction. I might still want to stick stuff under the other side, so I'm not going to sew that part down yet. But this is all solid with other papers now. Let's see, what else do we have? I actually do have plenty of paper here. I could have done it just with the French, whatchamacallit, French industrial, I guess. But I didn't think that I had enough. I really love doing this. If you have scraps that you don't want, stick them in an envelope and mail them to me. I mean, that'd be funny. I'd get all these. I'm kind of not kidding. I would love to just spend like a month making Frankenpaper. That would be totally fun. That would be great. So pretty soon we'll add, oh, you know what, I don't even know what time I started. Can I see what time we're at? 27 minutes. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop this, but I will continue and I will post it the same day, okay? I love you all. I'll see you in a minute.